Hi everybody, I'm Mike Antos. I'm a Senior Watershed Manager at the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority. So we're a joint powers agency that was created in the 60s out of conflict in managing the Santa Ana River, which is the big watershed to the east of us. We drain out of San Bernardino and Riverside County down through Orange County and out to the ocean. So the Disadvantaged Community Involvement Program that's going on across the state, as Grace was talking about in Greater LA and Ventura counties, we're managing the one for our watershed as well. However, that program is inferior to our integrated water management planning effort and program that's been in our watershed for many years. In fact, Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority was doing watershed management in the context of this program.
Sorry, Mike, you need to amplify.
We were doing the program we were doing a program like this prior to the state, and actually the state program was modeled off of something that SAWPA was doing. So I wanted to talk about that, and I've been told I have about 15 seconds. So I'm going to use more than 15 seconds, but I'm going to talk fast and skip a few slides. So we call this the One Water, One Watershed program. We abbreviate that to OWOW. The joke that gets really tired is that sometimes it's OW, but usually it's OWOW. So this is our service area. We're a JPA of 5 member agencies: Eastern and Western Municipal Water District, the San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District, Inland Empire Utilities Agency, and the Orange County Water District. But in the context of this, our authority is to the watershed boundary of the Santa Ana River. And those of you who are environmental governance folks know how important it is to have an entity that can act at the boundary of a natural system you're trying to manage. So the OWOW plan has won a number of awards. The one we're most proud of is from the Harvard Kennedy School for Business as an innovative governance system. And the reason why it's innovative is that the plan gets written by the stakeholders. The decision-making body for the OWOW plan is called our OWOW Steering Committee, and it involves 11 members. 2 of them are commissioners from our agency, and then the rest are scattered around the watershed. We have 1 county supervisor from each of the 3 counties we cover. We have 1 city councilor or mayor from the 3 counties that we cover. And then we have a representative of a business community, a representative of the environmental advocacy community, and someone from the water regulator. So our steering committee is diverse in its governance. We have people who have lots of different expertise. We often have new city council members who get asked to participate and join us and say, I don't know anything about water. And we say, that's okay, we don't know anything about running a city. And it's really valuable to have those perspectives when we're trying to do the kind of work we're talking about. So the OWOW plan is currently in an update status. I'm the project manager of that. And really that just makes me kind of an air traffic controller because the work is being done by hundreds of people. Literally, the plan gets written by stakeholders. There are, at the moment, about 60 or 80 different people who are typing parts of our plan, which creates a big, hairy thing, and it reads weird, but because everyone can see themselves in it, it's that much more powerful once it's done, and that's really important to us. So what's interesting is that these are the goals of our water plan, and I'm just going to highlight a few of them because I'm running out of time, right? There's a few that seem obvious: ensuring resilient water resources, ensuring high quality water. Those are obvious to you. But then you come down here and you talk about educating and building trust between people and organizations, and that kind of mirrors what Grace was saying. But then also improving data integration, engaging with communities, enhancing recreational areas. Everybody gets involved. So when you look at our watershed, this is a map that we use of the census tracts that qualify as disadvantaged communities or economically distressed areas by policy in the state. And when I look at this, I'm a geographer by training. To me, the most important part here is that they're everywhere. There's very few parts of our watershed where there's a governing body responsible for a community that has no one challenged by low income or environmental burdens, right? So when we talk about trying to bring benefits to our watershed to benefit the people who are most burdened, it's fair to say that pretty much anything we do needs to both think about how those benefits accrue to the people that need them, but then also we need to do this everywhere. There's very few people who can slap their hands and say, okay, we don't need to help because we don't have anyone who needs help. So disadvantaged communities, economically distressed areas, underrepresented communities, overburdened, underserved, low income, these are all labels that we use. But we lose track of the fact that it's all communities, right? It's all people. And when we say DAC, and I'm sorry, I'm going to throw you under the bus, Grace. When we say DACIPs, DACs, we're working with DACs, we are othering, we are dehumanizing. We cannot keep doing that. We have to realize that we're talking about people who have a lived experience every day, who are proud of the place where they live, they recognize that it has challenges, and they want they want help overcoming those challenges. But they also want to be respected for the things that they've achieved. And when we start talking about DACs and communities without remembering that there's people, we do ourselves a disservice to our effort, and we set up our own failures. So when we went to develop our program, this is what it looked like in my mind. Those of you that work closely with me know that this is kind of what my mind looks like. But we're doing three big things. And as Grace said, the state required a needs assessment, and we said, okay, you're blowing it, DWR. We're going to do a strengths and needs assessment. Because it's just as critical to understand what the communities appreciate about themselves, to make sure that you can reinforce those things, just as much as it is to make sure that you're bringing to bear resources on the things that the communities would seek to change about themselves. And then the second thing we're working on is education and engagement. So we're going to go out and learn what the community has to share about itself. And then we're going to come back and teach everyone what we heard to make sure that we heard the right thing. And then when we're done, along the way, we'll be looking for projects that need to be worked on. And it could be a project that enhances a strength, a community that's proud of its gardens. We might be able to do a rainwater cistern giveaway program. For us, that's a water conservation project. For them, it's a garden enhancement project, right? Enhancing their strength with a water need. So the project development is sort of the third thing we're working on. Our partnership is really exciting to me. The Cal State University is involved, and many of the team that helped put together today is involved. We've got Civic Spark Water Fellows, two of them from my team are here today, Ryan and Mickey. They're part of the AmeriCorps program through the Local Government Commission. The Local Government Commission is involved at the staff level as well. California Rural Water Association, the Water Education Foundation, and UC Irvine, and we have a fantastic postdoc who's with us, and she's here today as well. All of you can come to my breakout and meet and learn more. But we have universities and nonprofits in our team because they're the folks that are best at going to a community or going to an elected leader and saying, tell us about your community. That process, we're using, those of you in academia will love this, we're using an ethnographically informed process for gathering this information. This is not a data gathering like how many people, what's their income, what's the density of the communities. So that's sort of standard data, we're going to grab that too. But we're going out and saying, please tell us about your community. We're not saying tell us about your water needs or your water strengths. We're saying tell us about your community, and then we're listening to what we hear. We do ask a water question, but in general, we're much more interested in hearing how people narrate the reality of their communities, because it's through our understanding of that that we can start programming solutions and ideas that can support those things. The curse of our industry is the sense that we know what they need. We have to abandon that we don't. We don't know what they need. They know what they need, and we need to hear from them. We're also doing a really neat program, and I'm going to shorten this slide a little bit, come to my breakout, I'll go deeper. This is a process where some of our grant is going to the CSU, and they in turn are hiring student interns who then go back out into our communities and work for nonprofits or agencies related to community engagement. So we're getting community engagement done, and we're getting opportunities to students in the watershed who might not otherwise have them. They're getting paid to go work in the communities they're from. So it's a really neat, iterative piece of our program that we're actually really proud of. And then to date, we've been working very diligently on the question of homelessness. And in this idea of underrepresented communities, it was early brought to us by one of our stakeholders that the possibility of considering the collective population of people who are experiencing homelessness could be considered an underrepresented community in our planning. So we've conducted 2 symposia, one in June and one in December, where we started narrating together the challenges of water management and the social services sector challenge of homelessness, looking for the intersections between our missions and finding ways to collaborate on them. It's been a very productive partnership. It's still evolving in this process. One of the big keys here is that California has a policy since 2014 that there is a human right to water in California. And the question of how that right is achieved for someone who is experiencing homelessness is one of the big challenges that we're confronting, and I think has a lot of potential to be a good path forward. So, in my breakout, I will talk slower. I will give you a little more detail about program. We'll talk a little bit about that. I'm happy to answer questions. I really want to dialogue about strengths and needs, the idea of strengths and needs, I know many people in this room don't think about water, and I'm really hopeful that you'll come join me because I don't think about whatever it is that you think about. And I'm hoping that you can help me and help us. And then I know a lot of you are here today to think about how do you align funding opportunities. And it's the Integrated Regional Water Management Program, it's OWOW, that is the platform by which money gets spent on people's projects. The Disadvantaged Community Involvement Program is an effort to do a better job of getting out of our idea of we know what they need, and instead saying, what do you need? And now let's find some projects that can help you achieve those things. So you can also meet a postdoc and Civics Park Fellows, without who this project would be greatly diminished. Thank you.